So here I have a kit that does have a little bit of nest box eye. Now, interestingly enough, I haven't had too many issues with nest box eye in the time that I've been keeping rabbits. This is the second litter in a row that I have had one single case. And the interesting part to me, at least, is that these are both have the same doe, both separate litters that had one kit each in them had a case of nest box eye from the same doe. Now, I'm kind of attributing that to the fact that she doesn't pull quite as much fur as I'd like, which I think just gets them in more contact with the bedding and shavings. So I have changed out the bedding. You know, I changed that out a week ago. This one has the nest box eye. Once you have it, you can see that it's stuck shut. You're seeing a combination here of some pus, some crust from the fact that it's been stuck closed, and some ointment because I've been treating this for a few days now. So, you know, it's a little bit of all of that. So, again, you know, you might see this more seasonally when it's colder, and we have had really up and down weather. So we've kind of been going back and forth, them staying buried in the nest a little longer to keep warm and whatnot. But right now I want to get on treating this before his compresses get too cold. What I've made here, I've taken some chamomile that I had in the pantry, made a tea of it, and I've soaked some cotton balls in it. And that's the first thing we're going to do, is just put this compress on the eye, give it a minute to soak. The chamomile is drying, like a lot of teas are. So, you know, if you have chamomile or chamomile tea bags, you can actually just steep the tea bag, put the tea bag right on it, and then we're just going to kind of soak and gently wipe and try and get that opened up. But if you feel like it's really kind of solidly still kind of glued shut, you don't want to work too hard at that. You know, I'm going to kind of just soak and let the moisture and let the tea do its work. So this is very simple, just, you know, every day, twice a day or so, until you get that eye open. And once you get the eye open, it usually clears up pretty quickly on its own. The biggest thing is getting the eye open. It's more the eye being stuck shut than it is anything else. And yes, there is pus, and they look pretty nasty, and sometimes there's a significant amount of pus. But once that eye is open and they're able to blink and clear it, you know, it usually takes care of itself. Now, I do also, in addition to soaking it, I will put some ointment on it. I use either coconut oil, which I always think is funny because it's not really very oily, is it? It is at a warmer temperature. Coconut oil is a nice natural remedy that you would have in your home, maybe, if you like that kind of thing. I actually don't like coconut, so it's a little bit funny that I have it, but I have it more for this and a few other uses around. That's a good one, keeps the lid moistened, helps to work it opening up, and has some natural antiseptic properties. And also what I usually end up using is triple antibiotic cream. You don't necessarily need both of these, one or the other. And you know, if one's not working, maybe give the other a try. So just your typical over-the-counter triple antibiotic cream, and after I soak it and clean it up a little bit, I'm going to rub that on that, let that work for the day, maybe put a little bit on again later, and just do this for a few days until it clears up. Might take you a week or so. And then, like I said, once it clears, you're usually in good shape. So the one thing about the triple antibiotic cream, when you're shopping for this, make sure that it's cream that does not have pain relief in it, like lidocaine, because the lidocaine, the pain relief, it is toxic to the rabbits. So you just want a plain triple antibiotic cream. See how we're doing here. I don't know if you can see, we do have some pus behind that eyelid. It was, I did have some opening. Sometimes it goes back and forth for a few days. And we will just continue to do this till we get this little guy cleared up. I don't see any other rabbits in the nest with it. So we are able to get this a little bit open, which is good because I'd really like to get some ointment kind of in between of the lid that will help it clear faster. So now that we've got that a little bit opened up, gonna go ahead, I'm pretty generous with this. It kind of makes them look a little beat up, but I'd rather give it plenty to work in. Just apply that in the eye, if you can get it in the crease so it starts to work inside the eye and help clear the infection, work from the inside out, you'll be better off. So there we are. Yeah, he looks a little worse for the wear, but we'll get this cleared up in a couple days and he'll be fine, I'm sure. Yeah, you know, it's just nest box eye. You do the best you can. Keep clean cages, keep your nest boxes clean. Once they start hopping out, change that litter. And, you know, it's just one of those things. It doesn't mean that you have deplorable conditions. It happens. It amounts to about, you know, them getting, say, some sawdust or something behind that, and or, you know, a piece of the bedding, and it kind of sits in there and festers, similar to how your eye might if you couldn't get something out of it. They're just not very good at blinking and clearing their eyes when they're young. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's probably going to happen at some point. It might take years. Literally took years for me to see it in my rabbitry. It's just, you know, give them the care and take care of it and do what you can. With this mother, I'm probably going to start keeping more of an eye on how much fur she's pulling. And if it continues along those lines, it may be a reason to cull. Probably isn't going to be a reason to cull for me unless I just needed space and had a doe that I liked a lot better. But I might decide to add some additional lining, like some clean cotton balls or some pulled cotton or something like that to the cage to keep them out of that detritus. I also expect that now that we're starting to come into, hopefully we're actually going to come into spring and then summer, that with these next couple of litters that hopefully this isn't a problem so much, because just I'm hoping that they won't be spending as much time in the boxes. You know, these stayed in there longer than usual actually, because our weather's been really up and down and crazy, and it's you know, the temperatures haven't been too critical where I've been concerned about them, but what we have had is temperatures that we've literally been up in the 60s pushing 70, and then we might have a 40-50 degree drop within a day or two, and I always feel like that kind of up and down makes it difficult for the animals to acclimate, so they might be relying more on their nest box materials and things like that than they would otherwise. But so that's that in a nutshell. You know, only last thing I want to mention is that I do keep hand sanitizer in my rabbitry, because, you know, this is bacteria in their eye. You can get it from handling them if you're touching your eyes just as well. So I'm gonna, you know, take a good swipe of the hand sanitizer for myself. This is not for the rabbit. This does not go in his eye. And then go in and wash my hands, because pink eye is not something I want to be dealing with. So that's it. I hope that helps, gives you an idea of what nest box actually looks like. I know it doesn't look nice, but it is what it is.